Now, the Israeli officials have said that the second group of hostages have not yet been handed over to the Red Cross so far. This after Hamas sources had claimed that the handover of the second batch of the hostages to Red Cross had begun. Now, this, of course, is a developing story, and there is a bit of mixed messaging that, of course, is coming through in terms of the release of the second batch of hostages. Now, this is according to reports that are emerging within the Israeli media, where it appears that Hamas's military wing may have decided to delay the release of the second batch of hostages, while a Hamas official had told the AFP that the release is already underway. So there are two contradictory versions that are now emerging in terms of the release of hostages, which should be happening at this moment as we speak. Remember, the first batch of hostages and the Palestinian prisoners by this time yesterday had already been exchanged, but the information that is coming in at this moment appears to be a bit of mixed messaging that is coming through, where a Hamas official has told the VAR agency, AFP, Agence France Presse, that they have now begun releasing and handing over the Israeli hostages to officials of the Red Cross. This is what a Hamas official has reportedly told the AFP. But it's also being said that there could be a bit of a delay in the release of the second batch of hostages. So this is, of course, a developing story. The details of it are not still very clear in terms of what, of course, is happening, where the second batch of hostages should have been released. The second batch of the Palestinian prisoners should have been released, but it has not happened so far. And why this is still not clear, although according to reports, it is now being said that Hamas's military wing, the Qassam brigades, have said that they've decided to delay the release of the second batch of hostages until Israel commits to letting aid lorries into the northern part of the Gaza Strip. This is a developing story as we speak. This is a condition that Hamas has now imposed, saying that it will not release, or rather to delay the release of the second batch of hostages until Israel, of course, commits to letting it aid lorries into the northern part of Gaza. And our correspondent Jody Cohen is getting us more details on this. Jody, there appears to be a bit of mixed messaging that is coming through. On the one front, we have reports that say that hostages are being handed over to the Red Cross officials, but on the other, there are reports which say that Hamas's military wing has said that it has delayed the release of the second batch of hostages until Israel commits to letting aid lorries into the northern part of the Gaza Strip.
Hi, Mohammed. Yes, so at 4 o'clock this afternoon, 13 or 14 Israeli hostages were due to be released in this second group of hostages as part of this partial hostage release deal. Now, we're hearing that that has been delayed, but as you said, we're also hearing mixed messages. We've heard firstly that Hamas has said that they're delaying this release because they say that Israel has not fulfilled the deal in the first day of this 4-day pause yesterday. Firstly, they're saying that aid hasn't gone into the northern Gaza Strip, but Israel is saying that 200 trucks of aid have entered Gaza, 50 of whom have got to northern Gaza, and that's the first time that aid has been allowed to go directly to northern Gaza since this fighting began. So they're saying that that's misinformation. And secondly, that they're saying that with the prisoners released, that it wasn't carried out correctly and as agreed, and Israel is saying that again that it's misinformation, that they did release the 39 Palestinian prisoners as agreed. And then the third reason is Hamas is saying that Israel fired on some Gazans who were trying to get to northern Gaza, and Israel again is saying that it was part of the deal that the Palestinians would not be permitted to return to northern Gaza, which is where the fighting has been centered, and that they warned Palestinians not to go there. So we're also, as you said, we're hearing mixed messages because we've also heard Hamas is saying that they have released this second group of hostages. And Israel has reportedly said to expect more psychological warfare from Hamas and mixed messages and delays, and it remains to be seen what will happen with this second group of hostages who were due to be released at 4 o'clock local time, and it's now coming up to 7 o'clock local time, so it's almost a 3-hour delay.
Absolutely, indeed, it is a 3-hour delay, and it's difficult to in fact see as to, because the situation is extremely delicate and tenuous. Jody, is there any statement that's come through from the Israeli side? As you pointed out, the exchange of hostages and prisoners should have happened 4 p.m. local time. It's almost 6:35. It's a way past the time that was agreed. Have the Israeli officials said anything on this front?
So earlier they did say to expect this as part of psychological warfare. But they haven't said more beyond that as of yet. I think the other important development that we're just hearing about is that there's been a blast in the southern Israeli city of Eilat. And we know that over the past few weeks, the Houthis have been firing rockets towards Israel. We, again, haven't heard more about this. This is a developing story. Right. We know that there's also been rockets fired from Lebanon into Israel on Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon, and a suspicious aerial target over Israeli airspace was also intercepted. And then this afternoon we also heard about an Israeli-owned ship that was attacked by an Iranian drone, reportedly in the Indian Ocean, and that's according to a U.S. defense official, and that follows the Houthis hijacking of a partly Israeli-owned ship in the Red Sea just a couple of days ago. So while the fighting is paused in Gaza, we are still seeing these attacks taking place from other fronts.
Absolutely. Thank you very much indeed, Jody Cohen, for joining us and getting us all those details. We'll of course come back to you as more details emerge in this story. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.